1 month ago, Lyndon LaRouche and his international organization mobilized to shut down the British Empire's drive for thermonuclear World War III. Networks within the United States were mobilized to say that this war with Iran was not about Iran, that it involved Russia and China, and we took out the element of surprise that the British were relying on. That found resonance internationally. We had people in China and then Russia most emphatically moving to say that a war against Iran would spread internationally and that had nuclear implications. And so, now what LaRouche had said is that that war drive, led by the British, would not stop there. That as the transatlantic system collapses and Asia rises to dominance, the British Empire was not going to live in a world of Asian dominance. And that therefore this thermonuclear war was to target Asia and to get their dream of population reduction, which they have said over and over. The current 7 billion population needs to be reduced to less than 1 billion. And that's what this war was about, and that they would not stop. And so LaRouche just issued another warning saying that the war drive is on by the British again this weekend. That there's manipulations going on in the Middle East, in Asia, around North Korea, and that this was part of this drive. They weren't going to stop. The only way we are going to stop them is to get Barack Obama out now. And so those networks within the U.S. institution of the presidency, particularly the U.S. military that had mobilized with us to stop this one, need to move now to dump Obama. We cannot wait for 2012. Any talk of this is insanity. Obama's got to go. He's their puppet. He will be used to get this nuclear warfare launched. And what we find is that there are networks internationally who are prepared to move with us on the war prevention and the longer-term war prevention, which is the kind of economic development policies that go along with this. So many of these are the policies that LaRouche has put on the table 30 years ago. Strategic Defense Initiative, the Eurasian Land Bridge concept, NWAPA, the Arctic Development. And so I'd like to just take a minute to highlight some of the statements coming out of Russia, for example. What Lavrov just said in Moldova, which is that the shift in power towards Asia in terms of the economy was behind the West's drive for manipulations in the Middle East. And maybe even more to the point is what Ivanov had just said around Glass-Steagall and the drug trade. LaRouche had wrote the Dope Incorporated, which came out from LaRouche's movement back in the 80s, which went through what the international drug trade was about. It was the cash flow to finance the dirty political operations, the terrorist operations, and to prop up the international speculative financial markets, which were then used to wage the kind of financial warfare against nations. And so Ivanov just said, let's bring back the Glass-Steagall policy to shut down the global drug trade. And that would wipe out this British Empire. And look, we mobilized to get Glass-Steagall in and made the point to all those who said, yes, we're for Glass-Steagall, that you weren't going to get Glass-Steagall in unless Obama goes. And now here we are. The danger of war is there. He's got to be thrown out. We have the solution on the table. The Russians just proposed the strategic defense of the earth, not just for rendering nuclear warfare obsolete, but to deal with the threats that we face from the galaxies, the asteroid that just passed between the Earth and the Moon. These are the things that mankind has to deal with. Instead of fighting nuclear wars, we should have nations be working on these kinds of projects. We should be working on the Eurasian Land Bridge transportation grid that the Asians are now moving on, and what we have fought for around NWAPA, so we can actually develop the Arctic region. And so that's what the slate of LaRouche Democrats have fought on, but we can't delay any longer on getting Obama out. The war drive by the British is on this weekend. Obama must go to shut this thing down, and what we will find is that the rest of the world wants to work with the United States again. The United States of Roosevelt, of John F. Kennedy, and what LaRouche's policies represent now. And so we're fighting for that. All patriots must mobilize with us to achieve that objective, but that means Obama goes now.